Hello.
Welcome.
We're back.
The third installment of Naked Knowledge Night.
Did you miss us?
Hello. I love this show. I have so much fun talking and getting tips that I never would have thought to have found out.
Oh, and we have to talk about our last week's challenge, how that went.
Yes.
I am excited. Well, should we do the challenge recap or our sales first while people start trickling in?
We'll talk about sales. Let's talk about sales.
Yeah, go ahead. What was your fave sale of thy week? Hi, Elizabeth.
Yeah, Elizabeth K. Okay, so I've got the twosie. We'll drop a big fat 2 on here. I have one from eBay and one from Etsy. So my eBay sale this week that I think probably was my best sale here was this guy. It was a brass picture frame that I actually got from my mom. So it's ended up being like, didn't have to purchase it at all. She paid $4 at a Goodwill for it, and I flipped it for $30. And it is just a brass. Oh, Lordy.
There you go.
Brass lady. And I'm trying to go through the pictures. One moment, technical difficulties. There it is.
She's so cute.
She's cute. And she's vintage. You can tell by the back here.
Oh, neat. Yeah.
My second one was one that I've actually had on my Etsy for a hot, wet minute. And I'm running a sale right now on my Etsy, which is not a plug, but sort of is. This is a Russian lacquer box. It's a fairy tale box. It opens up.
Nice.
Just like that. So
things.
Super clean. Definitely something to pick up. When they're signed, they're more valuable. This one was not signed, but it's they make little lacquer pins, brooches. They're highly collectible. And so I ended up finding a box.
Nice.
Like I said, I purchased this a long time ago on shopgoodwill.com in a bundle, and I sold it for $30. So
solid sales.
What you got, girl?
All right, I'll do 2 as well. Let me see if I do have pictures. Now, these pictures are not, high eBay quality. So let me get into the story time behind my sale. So it was on Saturday or Sunday because the Packers were on. And I'm walking my dog, Opie, who we all know and love. And if you haven't watched some of my videos on my channel before, I talk about where I got my name, the garden and the garden finds, which is basically the trash room of my apartment complex, like where people move in and out and they just leave their stuff, or they just leave stuff for the taking anyway. And I was walking, and we were leaving the building, whatever, and there were some skis just leaning up against the wall in the trash room, and there was a piece of paper on it that said free. And I was like, okay, I see you, skis. And so I came back upstairs and did a quick comp search on them and posted them on Facebook Marketplace during a commercial. And this, not a great picture because it's Facebook Marketplace and you don't need to have as incredible looking pictures. So these are just downhill skis for men, I guess. They are
I know nothing of that.
Yeah, I don't ski. I snowboarded, but I did all the research on the bindings and the ski itself, and flipped them within like 20 minutes on Facebook Marketplace for $90. My investment was $0, and the dude actually came and picked them up and paid. So that was hands down my favorite sale.
I mean, literally.
Super jazzed. So yeah, he were like just, straight up ski bindings. So I still have the phone.
Someone either Like, I want to know the story of how those ended up getting there. Like, was it a bad breakup? Were they just done with skiing? Like, yeah, what happened?
I think people here, which is sad, and maybe just people in general, are lazy. So that this community has this kind of against the leasing office's, desire. We leave stuff, or the community people leave stuff in this room, and it's just kind of the free at the curb station. And so I think they were too lazy to list them on Facebook Marketplace themselves, bring them to Goodwill.
Plus your gain.
Yeah, I was like, you could have spent 20 minutes and made $100. Like, I will gladly do that all day long. So that was my favorite sale. It was my first ever sale on Facebook Marketplace. So try that out some more. I didn't want to figure out how to ship those, so I wasn't even going to list them on like eBay, or was not going to venture into that. And then real quick, where's the picture? There it is. My other favorite sale will be this piece of paper. Well, it's a script, and I sold it last night. Is in Primetime Treasure Hunters Cha-Ching-a-thon, which was like my very first Cha-Ching-a-thon, where you battle against another reseller, and it's whose item sells first kind of continues. You should definitely check them out if you haven't. It was really fun, but mine didn't sell first, but it still sold. So at the end of the day, that's all I care about.
Exactly. Him, much like Bolo Buddies, for those of you who don't know, are like, they are an endless supply of awesome knowledge when it comes to reselling. Like, I cannot express to you enough that if you take 30 minutes out of your day and scroll through those videos, chances are you will learn just so much. It's gnarly. As far as even how to put on eBay faster, how to source better. I mean, geez Louise, endless vats of info that they have. And he does this thing called a Cha-Ching-a-thon once a month. I keep on calling it thong. Fawn. I need to stop.
Dong, dong, dong.
Bong, bong, bong. And I actually participated in the last one, and he goes over and I'm not saying he critiques your listing, but he looks it over like anyone else would. And that right there, I was like, ooh, my list
was a surprise. Yeah.
Yes, Liz, doo-doo. I need to change it. So it's nice to have that critique too. I mean, it was positive, and I ended up getting a sale. I didn't win, but I ended up getting a sale. So
right.
Glad I got to bring you in on it.
No, thank you for sharing. I had heard of them. I've heard of the events, and I had just never tuned in. So, hello, America.
Hello.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So last week we gave ourselves a challenge to try out a new sourcing or an old sourcing place that we disregarded.
Yes.
How did it go for you?
I'm joking. It went interestingly. So I went to this Salvation Army thrift store that I had been to once before. The reason why it was disregarded was the parking was horrendous. Very small parking lot. And so it was kind of on a busy street. So it was difficult to find parking if you went like on a weekend. Closed on Sundays, which is like my prime. I source mostly on the weekends because I have a full-time job otherwise.
Pizza's here. I am going to
go get your pizza.
All right.
GRB. What else? Oh, it was relatively expensive for clothing, which I primarily source and did pretty much only pick up at the time I went there the first time. So I was like, let's not go back here. Also, clothing was arranged by color, not by size. They were kind of separated by type, so like shirts and pants, whatever. But I found it really inconvenient to look for things because, like, if I'm sourcing to sell, the bigger sizes sell faster. So I want to go to those sizes first. But it's hard to do when everything is sorted by color and not size. So I found that incredibly inconvenient and decided, not go back. It was priced too high anyway. Anyway, because of the challenge, I decided to go back, and I tried to look for things other than clothing because I am starting to want to like source more products or home goods or, stuffed animals, toys, whatever. So they didn't have a lot in that category of things that weren't clothes or hello, welcome.
Welcome back.
They didn't have a lot of things that weren't either clothing or large furniture or dishes. The amount of dishes they had was incredible. Like,
Isn't that funny though?
so funny. Like, I was like, I don't want any of this. Like, it was all breakables or all clothing and no in between. But I did find some mugs. I found some Ray Dunn mugs. So I'm excited. They're still all in my car. I haven't even brought them upstairs yet. I found like 3 Ray Dunn mugs, a couple mugs for myself that I'm going to keep because one had a K on it. So I was like, oh, I got to get that.
Meant to be.
And a couple stuffed animals that seemed quote unquote vintage, rare, whatever, that I'll look up because I'm not positive. But I think one of my favorite things that I did get were a pair of Air Jordans. They were $35, which is way more than I would normally spend on something, but the comps were incredible, between $200 and $300. So I'm really excited about those. And they're a size ginormous. They're a size 16.
Oh.
So they may take a little longer to sell, perhaps, because they're so huge, but that's pretty much the sum of what I got. A couple pairs of shoes, I think, maybe. I can't remember. Oh, the Air Jordans and maybe one other pair of shoes. But overall, I am glad I went back to fully vet out the entirety of the store. But I'm safe to say and confident saying that I don't need to go back again. Like, I gave it a second chance, and I'm glad I did. But now, bye-bye, belong. Salvation Army.
Hey, Viv.
Hi, Viv.
I actually am experiencing California snow. For those of you who, the weather is quite terrible. And for those of you who also may not know, I have 2 small children. So I didn't actually end up going out and sourcing, but what I did is looked up Facebook Market.
That's still
a lot of times, huh?
That still counts. It didn't have to be leave the home sourcing.
Right. So, hey, Carly. So out of the 3 items that I initially went for, I only got 1. Facebook Market, however, is awesome. There's still it's like just user. It's just sometimes it's like cringe city. A lot of times people forget to take down their item, or like literally you're too slow, or whatever the case may be, bad communication. But I did end up purchasing, and my husband was the one who was scouring for them. Found a projector, a vintage projector screen. So I'm gonna have fun with that. It came with its original box. It is signed.
Is it like big?
It's actually kind of smaller. I think it's like a 6x4.
Okay. I see.
So great. It smells like legit, like a classroom, like heaven. So I did try that out. Yes, I probably will go back to maybe every once in a while. Literally, my husband's on his way right now to pick up a new aquarium tank for sausage from Facebook Market, because sometimes you just have to. You can't tend to purchase full price. Hey, Scooter. Hey,
Scooter.
Thank you.
Sweet, thank you.
So yeah, ups and downs. I did manage to also go to one of my other favorite thrift stores this past week, and I did dabble in something else that I normally don't, which your plush reminded me. I ended up picking up a Wizard of Oz monkey little plush, like a
creepy monkeys.
It wasn't very creepy. It was kind of cute. It was blue. They're normally sold in like the sets where it came with like Dorothy and all that. I just had the monkey. So they had it for $4, 30% off. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try.
That's exciting.
That'll be interesting. So I'm excited for this next week's challenge. I guess we're going to have to figure out what it's going to be, but
we could do our Relisting.
Very true. We'll talk about that towards the end.
About that. Yeah.
Guessing.
Yeah. I liked this challenge though, because I never would have gone back to that store. And now that I hadn't been there for like maybe a year, and I never felt like I had fully vetted it just the once when I was so specifically looking at clothes. And now I can confidently say I know everything it offers. So I like this challenge.
It definitely is something that I would revisit monthly. Because of that. You never know what could be a honey hole again for you're on your way to meet your new granddaughter now.
Congrats.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
We're all really excited for you to my son. Yay! Really excited for you to meet her. So
that's awesome.
Today's topic, all about sourcing tools. I loved this topic because Kelly and I are so different. We're on different ends of the spectrum when it comes to things that we bring with us. And I think we both can agree that having a good cellular object is going to make or break your sourcing.
A communication box, as we call them at my house.
Here it is.
Box.
External chargers.
That is like, you blew my mind with that. Like, I'm going to the bins tomorrow for the first time ever. and I will be bringing my external charger. I'm going to write that down. Otherwise, I'm going to forget on my sticky notes.
Yes. External chargers. I would recommend more than ever. I literally have it right here. The Anchor brand. Guys, this is one I actually found at a yard sale. They didn't know what this was, and I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
An Anchor brand, like I said, it's a little bit more pricey, but the quality, and I drop my stuff. Like, I got kids, so things have been touched.
Yeah. I don't have a fancy one, but it'll do for now.
And you could put any kind of cord on it. It doesn't even have to be like an Apple product cord, or, I can't relate as far as Samsung goes or any other ones, but external battery, and make sure they're charged.
Don't bring it if it's empty.
There it is. Another thing, on that note, so I was telling Kelly earlier, is that you can turn something into a hotspot. Whether it's if you're going with somebody, you can turn their phone into a hotspot, plug them into the external driver. That way, if, like, let's say, the store has like no service, you're trying to find this comp, you think something you want to pick up is good, turn on a hotspot. A lot of times we have that feature included in our mobile plans, but we don't think to use it. Like, when is there a good time? I'm not going to
check your plan for the rules on that. We're not going to be responsible for any bill charges you may.
Yeah.
But it is a handy thing to have. I've used it, when my Wi-Fi is just not working and I'm on my computer, even at home. Like, you don't need to necessarily be out on the go, but like when my Wi-Fi is down, I've turned my phone into a hotspot and then plugged in, like, not literally plugged in, but used my phone's data for my computer.
Exactly.
So just something to keep in mind. Don't, be careful if you're using the data to make sure you don't go crazy on your limits, but that's, up to your plan. So.
Right. And I think right now, at least I know on my plan, if I don't use my extra data, give that to me, please. If I don't use my extra data, it's rollover. So right now, I don't know if a lot of people are going over their minutes and being able to roll over. So that's a good one to look into as well, is like how much you maybe go at the beginning of the month when you have a new data thing, or, vice versa at the end of the month or something.
Right. No, that's good to know.
Yeah. Just trial and error.
Check comps is really important. And I was just, because before we jumped on, we were kind of talking. I was like, well, I don't really bring anything with me. Like, if I'm sourcing for clothing, I'm not bringing some of the tools that Devan's going to bring with her for jewelry. But I thought of a few different apps and things for comp checking that I can mention. So when we get to that section, I will bring those up. Yeah. So, what are some things that you bring with you specifically for hunting jewels?
Sorry, Mom, but I break it.
It's all right. It is okay. It's just plastic.
Oh no.
It's a butterfly.
There it is.
It's gonna be okay. Magnet. I cannot stress enough a magnet. Even if you forget it, I've gone to thrift stores sometimes and I've forgotten it. Look around you and try to find a refrigerator magnet. Try to find a magnet. If you're at a store, let's say in general, a lot of times like an antique mall or something, the antique mall will have like a sticker on there that'll say what booth you got it from. So like if you are like a total, if you're hard off and you need to, get a magnet, you can have them, when you're going to the counter at the cashier and you're like, hey, I changed my mind on this, and they can just put it back. Or you can put it back. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, that's smart though. Because I have definitely told myself a million times, put a magnet in my purse, and then I don't. And then I'm there and I'm like, well, too bad. But you can probably find a refrigerator magnet in a thrift store or a flea market or wherever you are.
And I mean, it doesn't need to be like a 15-pound magnet for you to see whether or not the chain is going to pick up or not. And if it's cool, if it's fun, if it has a tag and there's no, wear on it, inspect the item, look at the item, really take the time to look at the clasp of the item. If it's stone related, it's hard. Depending on if you're at the flea market, it's cold in the mornings, kind of warmer in the afternoon. And when those things have been exposed to the up and down, they won't oftentimes be cold. So you got to click something against it. You got to kind of get creative.
Peace.
Peace out. So yeah, that's a lot of times what I bring. I have from the knowledge, and I'm sure Kelly, you do too, of brands and stuff that I know can flip for me. The unique stuff is stuff, you have to be excited about the things that you're going to be selling, or it's going to be a pain in the butt to list that, stare at that item.
Yeah. No, that is so true. And that I'm trying to be very better. I'm trying to be very better at that. Yeah. This year, that's one of my goals is get things I'm jazzed about, and not just because you can sell it.
Exactly.
That is so true.
Yes, 100%. But yeah, look for a basket of bifocals if you forget your loop. Oh,
that is so genius. Also, OMG. That is a good tip. Thank you, Charlotte.
No, that's a really good one.
Of glasses.
Another thing too is that reminded me at that time. This time, hey, sorry guys. Is you can take a picture of the item in question on your phone and you can zoom in.
Yes, that's really helpful. I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't remember. But yeah, wow, that's a genius idea. You can always find glasses, I feel like, at a thrift store.
Oh yeah. And I don't know if there's that would be another thing to look into, if there's a steady audience or customer base for glasses. That would be there?
Yeah, so I've actually learned a lot about flipping glasses. Not that I've sold them myself, but I've learned about people in the market or whatever from Donna, because she sells a bunch of glasses in like wholesale lots, whatever. And people will buy the frames and replace the lenses, especially like designer frames and stuff. She sold this is going to be super. You're not going to come across this in a thrift store, but what is it? Cartier,
Yeah.
It's Cartier, yeah.
Cartier, yeah.
Yeah. Pair of glasses for like $2,300 on eBay. So yes, designer frames. If you're listing glasses and they have prescription frames, you have to say, or if they have prescription lenses, sorry, you have to say like for frames only, or pop out the lenses before.
Okay.
But as long as you say, you know, frame only kind
A
of
lot
thing.
of vintage frames are gold. I did not know that.
So glasses, that's going to be, I'm going to try and, you know, look through those.
That's interesting. Stuff that I would have never thought about to dabble into, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of just offshoots of tons of things.
Oh,
that-
no, like you will always find a category of things to sell that you haven't found before, right? You will never run out.
Right.
Never.
So as far as covering those bases when you're outsourcing, tools that we use at home to help us not necessarily source at this point, but more prepare the item for the next stage, which is selling. You have tons of different things than I do.
Yeah. So I was going to mention too, really quick, another, I haven't used it in a while, but I was using it for a little while, the app called Sellhound.
Okay.
I know you can post things there. It's also a marketplace. They like take, I don't know a lot about it. I was using it for its comps research, but you can also sell things via Sellhound. But I was using it because you would like type in your item or whatever, and it would give you the average sale price and the average listed price on all the different platforms, like right in the screen. So I was doing comps. Yeah, that's it. So I would just get the app and or maybe it's called Fetch. If you scroll up, it said wait, go down.
Doggy. So marketplace directory, frequently asked question, news about.
Keep going. The oral. I thought I saw. Oh wait, Fetch is included.
Number 3. When you create listings using our app, we'll use this market data place to recommend the best price for your item.
So maybe it's not free anymore or something. Like I said, I haven't used it in a while, but I know you can sell on like all of those platforms via Sellhound or something. I'm no expert, but I did use them for comps. I found it hit or miss. It was nice sometimes, but you really had to get the keywords right. Otherwise, it was pulling things and inflating or deflating the comps. So I stopped using Sellhound and now just use like the eBay solds, but it maybe
going back to, because I mean, all these tips and tricks. Have you ever taken a picture on the eBay app and found good results that way?
like
Have you ever done that?
like with the scanner.
Right. Not necessarily with the scanner, but like on the mobile section, going in and you can actually like this little picture, and then it'll bring up comps that way.
I've just been using that for barcodes. I haven't actually taken a picture of an item.
There's so you can do it.
Because mine just says like hover over barcode.
There's a section that you can go on and you can look up or take a picture of it.
I just clicked the wrong. Okay, so yeah, there's the little like barcode button or camera button. Okay, so I've never tried that. I have always done that with barcodes. I wonder.
The thing that I was surprised about is that it saved all the pictures into your photo reel.
Oh, that's kind of nice. So you can always go back.
Right. So you can see, okay, what have I taken pictures of? What haven't I? Sort of thing. So that you have to be careful with, you know, as far as keywords go. But this one, a lot of times will bring up really weird things. If like, let's say you got, you know, like my remote, for example, if let's say you just got, you know, this top portion, it's going to show something different as opposed to the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
item.
yeah. So that's another hint that if you're in a pickle, you can check comps that way too. So
on the pictures thought or whatever idea, it made me think of, I was listening to another clothing reseller on YouTube, and she has a podcast. Her name's Lori from Lori's Boston Found. And she suggested, which I always forget to do, and I keep trying to remember, if you're looking up comps and you find the exact item, take a screenshot of it. And then you have the listing information so that, like, if you're in the store, right, and you're like, oh, these boots, blah, 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 and then you find the exact ones listed on eBay, take a screenshot of that previous listing. So then you have the price, you know, any other keywords, maybe the style name, all that stuff.
Right.
Genius.
Those little things will save you so much time. I mean, even as far as going and taking the time and look at something on the comps that maybe not have even sold, just so that you can make it, if like your item doesn't have a barcode, but you know it's by a certain brand, you can kind of go and scroll through what they have available and pick and choose the resources to maximize your listing.
Yes.
At least I do that for necklaces and bracelets and stuff. Saves me from having to put in all the specs every single time.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's annoying.
Am
I really slow for you, like my video?
Now that you pointed it out, yes.
Well then. That was like the perfect moment for that. You're like, I'm so proud. Nicely done. I loved him. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like if it's too much of a lag or something, let me know and I can like leave and come back or whatever.
Looks good right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could be my internet. Maybe I need a hotspot.
So,
yeah, what else were we talking about?
at home, what happens when we get home? So for those of you who may already know, or not, again, I'm just going to tell you. I started out doing this, and it hasn't even been that long, but I started out with just my phone. So and we live in a time where all of the sites, a lot of times, will have a media option or like a mobile option is what I meant to say, a mobile option. So you can post stuff, Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, Etsy, all of this stuff you can use just your phone. So going from the literal very first thing we were talking about is the only thing you need to get started is your phone.
Don't go
Great
out.
lighting is another one. When I first started on YouTube, I was watching how to start taking videos on YouTube. Like, I mean, they have that content out there.
Oh yeah.
Person saying, don't go and buy a ring light. Get one of those adjustable lamps with the multi, bulbs and adjust it.
Yeah.
Right? So
I had one of those in my college dorm.
Right. That's what she was saying, that you can go to the Walmart and you can buy one of those for less than $50, which is a lot starting out. So every penny matters. Even try and get it secondhand sort of thing.
Yeah.
Get, and use that for your picture taking. Just make sure you're consistent. It's
Right.
clean. For me, when I get home, obviously sanitize it now with everything that's going on, and then clean it, obviously. I do have to mention that there are some things that I don't clean because of its vintage state. And I will obviously state that in the listing, like, hey, yo, I did not clean this, because
Some people prefer that.
right. So what? The Walmart. Make sure it's the Walmart. Thanks, Elijah. You bet. I like adding a the in front of things to give it. Yes, it's important. So what tools did you start out with? I guess is
My phone. I had a laptop at the time, but I don't know if I can't actually remember how I was creating these listings. If I was creating them on my phone or my laptop, I don't remember. But now I'm like I do almost everything. I think I was definitely sharing from my phone, specifically Poshmark, because I started on Poshmark, and you will find it's faster on a desktop to share. There's a lot of weird, like, we could get really in depth, that I've heard the fastest way to share your closet is actually on using your iPad or tablet with a stylus, but not in the app, but on a browser page is technically measured as the fastest way, because you can just.
I think it kind of also depends on how you started doing it. the way that you're accustomed to.
Right.
So like I cannot share my Poshmark on my desktop. I have to do it on my phone.
Really?
I cannot.
Low on my phone though.
Oh, really? See, I like blast it. I'm
Yeah.
like, but
Yeah.
I cannot on the desktop. So
No.
that's something to take into consideration too. Go with what works for you. It doesn't matter what we
Right.
say.
Then and it like just because you have a computer and an iPad or whatever, you don't need like I don't have a tablet, right? You don't need any of those things. You need probably one device that can connect to the internet and one device that can take photos. It doesn't even have to be the same device. Like you could totally use a digital camera and somehow get those photos into your listing, right? Like you don't you don't need to be
phone your phone onto desktop. I mean, I do that because it's easier for me to
get your photos. Yeah.
Right. I didn't start out, I did not have a printer. And I've said this before.
Neither.
I've utilized the like printing services. You're supporting small business. And they also give you tips and tricks. They'll just, you know, if you become friendly with them and you're in there and your face is also there, it makes things easier. And eventually, the more sales you get, if you want to invest in your business, like was only going to make it better for my house if I got a printer eventually. So I ended up doing that.
Right. I got I didn't have a printer either, and I actually bought my printer secondhand from OfferUp or Let Go, or now they're the same, but it's like a Facebook Marketplace kind of place, you know. I think when you're starting out, getting some of those tools secondhand is a really great way to go. You can get a lot of good deals on, you know, the local, you know, swapping apps. I don't know what to call them, like Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Nextdoor. I've gotten some good stuff off of the app store. Yeah.
That is like a scare factor for me, Nextdoor. Like literally all I hear about is scary things on Nextdoor.
Yeah, there's like a wide range of topics, but I feel like it's either people are like scared, like scary stuff that's happening, crime, people complaining about something that's not worth complaining about.
Someone pooped in my lawn, like
no,
literally dumb. Like I cannot. So I like, you know,
I don't read the posts, but I will look at like the sale and the free section.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I don't just generally read the thoughts people have.
That's one that I have to revisit then, because it's a pretty poppin' thing for me over here, at least for that. So Nextdoor would be a really good one. I
actually got, and I still have a huge box of these in my car because I can't bring them up. I have no room, of packing supplies, which can add up very quickly. They're very expensive. And, you know, people get rid of moving boxes all the time, but like, I'm not selling anything big enough to go in one of those boxes. Like I need smaller things, or bubble wrap, or just random paper, whatever. Someone had just moved in and was getting rid of all of their like filler. And I was like, I will take all of your padding and all of that.
Yes.
So that's where I got that. So there's some good stuff on there.
That's amazing, seriously, because you don't, like you said, you don't realize how much you pay for bubble wrap. Because if you're SOL and you used all of your reusable ones, you got to buy it. And
right. Yeah. I try and save every package that I get in the mail, save the box to reship something out in, save any packing material that comes within it. Like Opie's dog food is really my lifesaver. He is huge, and so he gets a huge bag of dog food like once a month, and it comes in the big box, and then there's like just this huge crumpled thing of craft paper. And so, yeah, I love that. I take it and I just cut off pieces of it when I need it for wrapping stuff. So thank you, Chewy, for supporting.
I was going to say something else. I get, because I'm in a more of a residential area, I get like free like newspapers or free advertisements. And so it's a big bundle. And instead of throwing it away, okay, take the time to pad your box with it. Wrap it in something.
Oh my God, I feel so dumb. I've been throwing those away.
But I mean, it's sort of things you just don't think about. And like, I saw someone wrap something in newspaper, and I'm like, why isn't it okay? As long as it doesn't smell like butthole, like it should be fine.
Yeah, it comes clean and intact.
Right. And who doesn't like the smell of newspapers? Maybe somebody, but you know, there's that. So reuse everything. And I mean, I think as far as our generation goes, you know, we want to minimize our thumbprint. What's that?
Green, yeah. Carbon footprint.
Reuse, reduce, recycle.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't hire us for your climate campaign, but yeah.
That's right. Don't do
We're trying, okay? Like I buy biodegradable mailers because I'm trying to care.
A lot of times if I do not have bubble wrap, I'll use one of my poly mailers, and I will just stuff an item in there, and I will not lift the little seal. And I'll just put it in the box. That way someone can reuse my poly mailer.
Oh yeah, because yours are they're like bubble ones already, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I will pay that little extra to get the poly mailers that have the bubble inside of them, so that I'm using less bubble wrap eventually.
Right,
So
right, yeah. Especially if you're shipping more breakable, or not breakable, but like
right, and
or something. I don't know.
You have to consider too, like, is, you know, the item, your item that you're shipping. You're not going to put you know, a plate into your poly mailer, like,
right, like never put a necklace or a bracelet or anything in my poly mailers that don't have bubble wrap lined in them, right? They're not bubble mailers. Like,
right.
I would never just throw a necklace in there and be like, see ya.
And you know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I've actually had people message me and be like, I really appreciate the way you wrap things. Some people will just throw it in a bag and I'll just get it shipped. I oftentimes end up getting a lot more stuff that is just thrown in a bag that is in pristine condition, whereas I will ship something, I will bubble wrap the dickens out of it, but it came broke. You know, isn't that funny? Like, it's just, I guess, the way it works sometimes. But
right, yeah. But yes, utilize free resources. So I guess those are kind of tools. If you live in an apartment complex, you may not have a plentiful garden like I do of the trash room, but ask your neighbors, or, you know, hey, you just moved in, can I take your bubble wrap, right? Like, you don't need to be
really creepy about it. No, don't.
Please do that. What is going on with my computer?
We lived in a duplex, and I used to have a neighbor who was elderly, and she would water her lawn in her underwear. It was, you know, I think it's moments that you will never forget, but stuff to take note in, like, don't go out in your underwear, because this is how you could potentially look.
Excellent. Wow. Like, she wear like a robe?
No. Little lady.
Okay. I love old people. They're just like, I give no F's. That's excellent.
No. Thank you.
Other things that I use at home to help are, if you do clothing, which I know not everybody does, but if you do have the occasional clothing item, or you are primarily clothing, I recommend getting a steamer. They are awesome for de-wrinkling, which is like what most people think they're for, but they're also great for sanitizing, since it's steam, hotter than, you know, water or whatever. It's really, really hot. And so it kills bacteria, and it helps get out smells, you know, get that thrift store smell out of clothes.
Wow. I was going to ask you, do you launder everything that you purchase? Do you actually run it through your laundry?
Most everything. Sometimes I don't, but yes. Most items go through the laundry with just a little, you know, just a little detergent. I get the big like economy size Tide powder that like no one uses powder detergent anymore. But
I love powdered detergent.
I am going through it like nuts now though with all like the clothes. And I haven't used it in forever because it's just throw a pod in the thing, right?
Right.
So I got the big bucket thing of powder and I throw some of that in there. But honestly, it's one of those things which we were kind of talking about before we went live was the cost of your time. And what is your time worth? And is it making a difference? So obviously, if something is stained, I'm going to, no worries. If something is stained, I'm going to spray and wash or like OxyClean, spray it and put it in the wash and, have it be clean. But if it's in perfectly good condition and there's no stains or anything like that, and it just needs to be kind of sanitized, I just steam it. I'm not sure if running it through the wash is really making a big impact on, how it's selling, the happiness of my customer, the review I might be getting. And it takes a lot of time when you think about the cycle of laundry, how long that can take. That's a few hours that you're not able to use that item and, photograph it or whatever. And especially I air dry most things that I get because you don't want everything. Like I try and follow the instructions on the tag. And especially like cotton things too, even though it says you can tumble it, I'll just err on the side of air drying. So I'm actually going through a little battle right now of, is this worth laundering or not?
Right. Man, because I've actually even saw today, someone was asking, someone who's not even like a reseller per se, but like a friend on Instagram was asking, hey, how do I get the smell of thrift store or really potent laundry detergent out of my sweater? She got like this dope sweater. And I'm like, dang, like I don't have the answer for that. Like, how do you, what is the answer for that?
Well, steamers are good. And then what I've been doing, because I bought a bunch of vintage clothes, like when I say vintage, I mean like 1930s, like old. And they smell like old. Like it, honestly, when I opened the box, like and unboxed them, they did make me sick to my stomach, like the musty, gross smell of just dust and stuff.
Right.
There's no real way of preventing that. They're just really old. And I've scoured the internet for how to get rid of that smell because you couldn't, maybe depending on her sweater, you can't launder it necessarily in your washing machine. Maybe you don't want to go to the dry cleaners.
Right.
Two things that I've tried that are successful is vodka and or vinegar. So take a spray bottle of either one and kind of spray the fabric, and then as it dries, it evaporates the smell out.
Hot.
Weird, right? I've also heard people, which I've never had a problem with this, that if you are able to throw it in your wash, you can get the thrift store smell out with your detergent and then I guess a scoop or something of baking soda.
Yeah.
I guess. So
my mom, like that's her go-to. Like she doesn't use chemicals. She has like just a spray bottle that she uses. It's vinegar, some baking soda and some soap, Dawn soap. So, and then with water to fill it up. Yeah. So she doesn't use like, there's obviously there's a time and a place to use bleach and other cleaners, but as far as like, your day-to-day wash up, that's what she uses. But so I always think that I have to have something extra here for these children. So like, give me the Clorox. We're going Clorox and Lysol. We're going to town on this here. So it just using vodka gets expensive. Vodka. I see. I'm like, don't have those on my chat yet. I'm gonna Chisdy chat.
I mean, we already are. I can't even talk. We already have vodka in the house, so it's not too bad to just throw it in a little squirt bottle. But
yeah, I'm not saying we want a dry house or anything. I just don't have any vodka here, unless it's given to me by someone. And then I think, like, why are you giving me alcohol? Does it look like I need it?
We're like, what is this? What are you trying to say?
Exactly.
That is our like liquor of choice. I guess we don't buy any other hard liquor, just vodka. So yeah. Anyway, vinegar works just as well, which is not alcoholic or nearly as expensive.
And vinegar, so cheap. You can get the cleaning vinegar too. I
Yeah.
don't know if anyone knows that there's a difference between cooking vinegar and cleaning vinegar. It's fairly inexpensive. I definitely
Like a
recommend.
big thing of it, like a gallon or whatever jug, is very cheap.
Yes.
I use mine all the time as well.
So that's, I mean, that whole thing, cleaning, could be like a literal whole episode.
Yeah.
Of, and naked knowledge. I just literally, there's so many ways that people clean their jewelry as well. My God, like so many, when something has verdigris on it, or like the green, or I call it, and I don't know if it's probably as tasteful, but I call it jewelry herpes, jewelry mold, the green stuff,
very, very classy.
I'm a classy gal.
You are.
So I expect you to be a Grey Goose or cuddle person.
I think Grey Goose would be the winner.
Shoot.
For the community, of course.
Sure. I mean, take one for the team. You can
Yeah.
get one of those little ones. Do they still sell those?
Oh, like the little like airplane bottles.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh, verdigris, right.
Oh, yeah. Herpes.
A lot of people say you can use ketchup, acidic, something. A lot of times, and like you had touched on earlier, and we touched on before we even went live, taking the time to clean an item, is it going to be worth the flip? If you find a cute pair of vintage earrings and they are loaded with verdigris, I think there's stages of verdigris. You have the bright green verdigris, and then it tends to turn into this smoky, dusty, just break down your jewelry color. And at that point, you just got to throw it out. You can maybe put it in a craft. And if you do come across something that has verdigris, do not put it next to your other jewelry, non-verdigris jewelry items, because it will spread like wildfire.
What causes it? What is it?
It's just mold. You're fine to touch it. It is okay. Like Bolo Buddies was asking me, like, am I okay to touch it? Yeah, you're fine to touch. Just wash your hands. Like, don't.
Yeah.
It's just nasty sometimes. Like, it is. You gotta imagine it's resting on your skin.
Right. It's
And-
like bacteria and skin cells.
Just
I always
filthy
wondered
nasty.
what it is. Like, so is it true that any jewelry can get it?
Most
Or
of the
more
time,
metal's more common.
your metal alloys, your cheaper metals, your plated metals, they're going to have the verdigris on it. That's another really good telltale whether or not something is going to be worth the flip. If it's precious metals or something, the verdigris doesn't tend to grow on it.
That's what I
but
thought. Sure.
Not something that I would like test. Like, oh, I'm just going to stick a sterling necklace in. No, like keep.
Let's see if it's gross.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
You never want to do that. But just, however long you're going to take, just make sure your time is worth the sale. Like we were talking about before we went on, just make sure that you treat your time as important as you would treat your item.
So true, right? Like some resellers go so far as to, break out their time to like write it down, calculate, what is my hourly rate kind of thing, and you can use that to dictate, is this going to be worth it if I have to spend an hour cleaning this and I'm only going to get $20 for it? Like, is that really worth my time? Like, same goes for clothing, for really anything. But I feel like the stuff people wear, jewelry, accessories, clothing, shoes, they can show more wear than other items, and they may have things that either need repairing or cleaning up more than like, a hard good item or something. So
definitely there are tips and tricks that we aren't even able to cover on. But if you have any and would love to share, you could definitely comment in the comments down below if you've made it this far into the video. We're always down to share. I'm a big sharer. I always encourage people, ask me. What's the worst thing that can happen? We can figure it out ourselves. You can make a sale, you know, whatever. Like, don't be afraid. Just ask. So, you know, it is coming up to that hour point, and I could literally talk all day about this. So I'm just really glad that this is an outlet. We want to hear from you. Are you still enjoying this series? What would you like to see more of? If you know,
topics,
let us know. We do like to end. We're doing this kind of like thing where we end the night with a challenge that we give ourselves for the week. And yeah, you want to talk about it?
Sure. Maybe, I mean, we didn't really pre-plan this too much, but we had talked about doing this sometime. We just didn't set a date for it, of maybe doing a relisting challenge, specifically maybe Mercari was what we had talked about before. Right. If you still want to do that one, it would be a fun way to test out, you know, how Mercari is doing. And I had heard somewhere, honestly, I don't even remember, that your items can get really stale quickly on Mercari. So the key to consistent sales is constantly relisting them. And so we thought maybe we would try relisting our closets or stores, whatever, over there, and see how activity picks up, or does it make a difference? And then maybe we can, because I know for me, not all of my items are on Mercari. So I got bad listing at some point and they fell away. So you can clean that up.
And there's some things that, like, you have to think about too, the percentage that they take. Like, anything over a certain point on Poshmark and Mercari, you're like, dang, that's a lot that they take.
Mercari has a way better percentage than like Posh or eBay.
Really? So I haven't
Poshmark.
I haven't had that. I haven't had really great luck on Mercari, but I'm not active. So I think this challenge is going to be fantastic.
Right.
Just all in all, like, another thing that I wanted to touch on eventually is us doing this kind of challenge. So eventually you don't have to.
Right. So, you know, this is what kind of has worked for us.
Right.
Because Mercari only takes 13-ish%, 10%, and then a processing fee, and Poshmark is 20.
Gross. Well,
it's gross. eBay is, you know, eBay is different for everything. It's in between 10 and 20.
Straight up. So, with that being said,
do you want to try and do it?
I want to try to do it. I need to do it. I thought about you last night, which sounded really bad, and here, there it is. Literally, I shared my closet, my Poshmark closet, and I got a sale this morning. And normally I don't do that. So guys, you know, take the time that, even if, okay, it's not going to happen all the time. I mean, I took an offer. Something didn't, you know, sell straight out, but there's a huge difference between getting little hearts and getting an offer. So whether that was me sharing or whether it was the algorithm I'm in, it doesn't really matter. Just do something out of your norm. That's what
on the platform
to do this week. And eventually we'd love to be more audience, you know, for you to share what your biggest sale was for the week, if you sell online or something. But let us know if you're rewatching the video or whatever, what you'd like to see, you know, future questions, or if you have any questions, you know, let us know.
Yes. Oh man, I'm so happy. That is awesome. You got a sale, dude. That's incredible. Was it good? Like, or was it like,
my whole philosophy is, like, in my husband and I think, I'm like, oh man, it was only like a, you know, whatever amount of sales. Like, no, that thing was sitting here waiting for you to make money on it. Anything's better than it just sitting here. I can't remember for the life of me right now how much the sale was. But it was good. I'm not mad at it. It wasn't no like big item, but it was something that's flipped. It's out of here.
It's not taking up room in your house anymore. And it's on its way to a new owner. That's amazing. Ah, congrats.
Thanks. And congrats on those skis. I'm still like,
Thanks, man. That was a surprise. Every time I walk Opie now, I'm like, more things, more things. Where are you? I'm coming.
I definitely think that I would love to make a video kind of vlog style as far as reposting on Mercari our how-to.
I was thinking.
Okay, good. Because I think that that would be a great idea. A lot of people starting out, like I mentioned earlier in this video, I had to YouTube how to make YouTube videos because
So funny.
I didn't know. So now sort of. All right.
Awesome.
Is there anything else you wanted to add before we
I mean, I'm pumped for this week. Yeah, I hope. I'm really excited to see how this Mercari thing goes. Maybe we just, just try it out. Maybe not necessarily give us, you have to relist in 2 days, but like just over the course of the week, just keep relisting things and see if we get more sales because of it or more interaction with people, whatever. And yeah, I'm jazzed and I hope y'all have an awesome week.
Hey, thanks so much for watching another episode of Naked Knowledge Night. And I have to do this one more time before we go. All right.
You'll see that gift fits in your life in every situation.
Absolutely. You can find that guy anywhere. Anyways, all right. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. Bye.